Got
Recording in progress.
got it.
Yes.
Okay.
This evening we've got Rich K0PIR who's here to share an evening with us, and I'll hand it straight over to you, Rich.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Andy. Come on up. Got to get him in the picture. Yeah, when you emailed me, I was trying to think of a good topic, and I had one, but I did it last time. I guess it was on the antennas, so I forgot all about that. But I have been in the process of switching computers, so I thought that'd be a good topic.
Yeah.
And the operating systems, as you probably know, are the three big ones: Windows, Apple, and then Linux. And there's a lot of ham operators using all three of them, but Windows is the most popular. Now, I got a Apple laptop. It's a MacBook Pro, and if you're familiar with these computers, this one was 2015 when it came out, and it's the Intel processor. Um, that's what I wanted because I had one of the new Mac Minis. They're just a box about this big that sit on the desk, but I couldn't take it with me in the camper, and I want to have something for the fall and the winter while I'm traveling. Uh, okay, that was the reason that I went to uh, the Apple MacBook Pro, or I got that one because the Mac Mini I couldn't take it with me. And the MacBook Pro, it's 2015, so it's pretty heavy. It's one of the older ones. It's a pretty heavy. It's a beast. I was really surprised. It's 5 pounds. The other one I'm using is a Microsoft Surface Go, and for Windows, and it's really lightweight. Weighs probably 2 pounds, and it's just terrific. It's got a touch screen on it. I've really enjoyed it. I used it. I did use it in the camper the last year or two, about year and a half. I really liked it. But I do these videos, and all my videos are done on the Apple iOS, which is Apple's mobile platform, software platform. The thing with Apple and one of the reasons I went with it, or I'm trying it out, I decided to go ahead and invest the money in it, is because they communicate really well. I've got an Apple iPhone, I've got an iPad that I do my videos on, and then now the laptop, and sending files back and forth is real easy. So just the convenience of it. But there's a learning curve because I haven't gotten in it too much, other than some of the ham radio applications. And when we talk about the operating systems, um, there are still people out there that don't like the digital modes, and they don't want to have anything to do with it. So this isn't just for digital modes. This is mainly for logging, my logging software. I want to keep track of the people that I am in contact with. So on Windows, I've used HRD, Ham Radio Deluxe. I like Log for the Old Man, DX Lab Suite. There's a lot of programs for Windows. That's one of the big benefits. The pluses of sticking with Windows is there's so many applications out there, and there are commercial ones and then there are free ones. And the free ones, even though they're free, you can get good support with it because there's a lot of support forums. Groups.io has a lot of forums on it. Facebook has got a lot of forums, and so going from the Windows to Mac, I wanted to look at the logbooks, and I've used some of the logbooks, a couple of them, for Apple, and that's MacLogger DX, and the other one is RumLog NG. One of them's MacLogger DX is a paid program. RumLog NG is it's a free one, and he just asked for donations. And both of them are excellent, excellent logging programs. If you're keeping track of awards, your contacts, if you're chasing DX, both of them are excellent for chasing DX. The alarm that they have on them that'll notify you when that rare station comes online. If you leave your radio going, your computer going, it'll send you an email or a text message when they're on. And now Windows will do that too. The Windows logging programs will do that too. But that's what I look for in the logging program. I want to chase DX, and I want to be able to upload to the online logs, and I want to be able to upload to LOTW pretty easily. And if I can do it from within the logging program, that's better for me. It's easier for me. And what else was it? There's a couple other things that I look for in the logging programs, but I should have done a pros and cons before I jumped into this. I don't. Sometimes I just jump in and just decide to do something and just do it. If I went through a list of pros and cons, let's take a look at. I've got a whiteboard here. Maybe it will pop up. I don't know. Are you able to see that?
Yeah, we can see it, Rich.
Okay. Don't know what it looks like on yours, but I should have done this before. If I had done it before, I probably would have stuck with Windows, because Windows has so many positives. The thing that I don't like about Windows is the uncertain. The restarting, the updates, the viruses, any kind of malware. There's a lot more out there for Windows than there is for Mac and for Linux. Linux is probably I think probably Linux is the least has to worry about when it comes to malware and viruses, because seems like the guys that are creating malware want to do it for the popular operating systems and not the least popular. So and I've been hacked before, and it's no fun to have to start all over again and let everybody know that I've been hacked. That's just no fun. But the pros of the Windows the way that I see it is there's just a lot of ham radio software for it, and I mentioned some of the logs. One of the things I have to stick with Windows is because I run these ICOM radios, and the ICOM the 7610 we get a fast USB port so I can run HDSDR and CW skimmer. And I really miss that when I'm on the Mac. I would love to have that on a Mac. And there's a way to do that, but I'll get to that later. But that's what I miss. And the logging programs, there's a lot of them, good ones out there. And when it comes to contesting, my favorite is probably N1MM, that, and then some of N3FJP's contest applications. He's got some good ones that are really simple to use, and I enjoy using them. But N1MM you don't get on Apple and you don't get on Linux, so that's a big drawback for me. The other thing with the hardware on Windows is it's a lot more popular. You can find devices for Windows and the Intel platform pretty easily. If you're looking for USB hubs, any kind of devices that connect to the computer, there's a lot more of them out there for Windows than there are for the other operating systems. And the familiarity with Windows, it's hard going, especially if you're getting up there, you're 50, 60 years old and or older, and you're thinking about changing software. Do you want to go through the learning curve? Uh, and I've been involved with software pretty much the last 30 years, so I'm familiar with it. But I can't imagine guys that are getting into this thing and you don't have a lot of computer experience. It's a big learning curve, and I completely understand if you don't want to if you don't want to move away from Windows and try Apple, or if you don't want to try Linux, because it is such a big learning curve. It's frustrating. It can take a lot of time. Um, the cons of the Windows operating system for me is that, like I said, the viruses, the updates, the restarts, the errors, all that stuff. It can really wear on you after a while. But overall, I would say if I had to choose between one of them, I would go with Windows, because it has such a large community of software developers. There's always something new coming out on it. And besides, I run the ICOM software or the ICOM radios. The Apple, the Mac OS, the thing that I like about it is I do have antivirus on there. I don't think you should stay away from antivirus or malware software. I do have that on mine, but there's fewer viruses, fewer malware that you need to be concerned with. And Apple's got the new M1 and M2, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with that or even read anything about it, but that's the processor that these use, and they're really fast. That little Mac Mini that I had was an M1 processor, and opening up I was running Parallel. Parallel is the software where you can run Windows Windows programs on a Apple computer, and man, it just opened up like that. It was really quick. Everything was really fast. Eventually, things started to bog down though, and that's where I got a little disappointed. I guess I should have gotten more RAM with it. One of the cons about the Apple is the price of the computers. They're very expensive. They charge a premium for it. But back over to the pros, I think that they're easier. I think that they're easier to use, but that's just me, and that it could be that's up to the user. The hardware and the software is optimized, so you have fewer hiccups. When you have software updates, I haven't experienced the big problem that I've had with Windows. Windows, I'd lose my audio settings. Sometimes I'd lose my devices. Restarting would bring them back, and then other times I'd have to reinstall the software. But I think over the last few years that I've had an iMac and this Mac Mini, I had it for about a year. I didn't really experience any software hiccups or glitches. Not that I can remember. So I think there's fewer. I think the hardware, the monitors, the screens on the Apple, if you look at the iMacs, those Retina screens, they're beautiful. You can buy hardware that will be compatible with Apple and Windows, either of the operating systems, and you can get high quality, for Windows too. But the standard on the Mac is just excellent quality, just beautiful and beautiful colors, beautiful screen, and the other hardware, this Apple laptop that I got, the MacBook Pro, it's a solid laptop. I think I'm really going to enjoy it. The compatibility with the other devices is a pros for me, but that's because I use it with other things. I use it for videos and Communicating with other people. I like my family has Apple, so it just works really well for us. So that that it could be that wouldn't be a issue with a lot of people, but for me it worked out. So I didn't do Linux on here. I didn't get down to Linux because Linux is pretty much the like Apple. The pros of Linux are the viruses and malware. There's fewer of it, and the problem with the Linux that I have is the learning curve. And when I got into this little last Linux laptop that I've got, I switched over to Annie X. I'm not finding that I really like it that much. It's difficult for me to use, and the best logging program that I've found for it is CQR log. So you're really limited on good logging programs. I've been on websites and I've seen a lot of logging programs for Linux, but when I checked into them, they were outdated. The majority of them were just way outdated. They hadn't been updated in years. So I was left with really one CQR log, and it works really well. It uploads to online logs. When I've used it, I used it on another computer. I got the online logs. I got the radio control. I got it was integrated with FLDigi and WSJTX. Those are programs that I use for digital modes. So I'm happy with that, but I'm going to take it on the road with me and actually use it and see what I can do with it, see how well it works. So right now, if you're familiar with Windows, I'm not going to go through the three important things that I see when I switch over and I look at a different operating system. One is the File Explorer. How do I get around the hierarchy of it? And I understand Windows. I understand DOS. I've been around it a long time. So that's really familiar with me. Whatever file manager that Windows comes up with, I can work with it. When it comes to Apple, it's a little bit different. The file manager, file finder, for me personally, it's not as user friendly. I like the fact that I can drag and drop programs and it goes to the iCloud. iCloud is an online cloud. It stores all my documents, so I like that part of it. And you can do that with Windows too, but with Apple, I think it's easier. It's easier to use that way. But the file finder is definitely different if you in the hierarchy of how everything is labeled and stored on the hard drive. It just looks different. So if you go from Windows to Apple, you'll have a learning curve there. And I wanted to bring up what the file manager looked like. And what I've got is a short video of what it looks like. And I don't know if you can. We'll see how I can get this over to you. Let's see, where is it? Oh, installing programs. Installing programs is the other thing. The file manager, installing programs, and I like it. I like it when it's easy to install programs. And Windows to me is super easy. You download it and you double click, and it installs. I just let everything install to the default. Apple is a little bit different, and I'll show you what it's like to install on an Apple computer. And let me bring this up. Well, I'll turn that off. Okay, now let me see. Can I get this over to the? I'm going to close the whiteboard. let me see. How can I get this over to?
You should be able to share your screen, Rich.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. That's right. Which one am I looking at?
That's it. We can see.
Can you see it now?
Yep, we can see it. Okay.
MacBook Pro 2015, mid 2015 model, and it's an i7 Intel processor. It's not one of the new M1s or M2s. I had one of the M1s, a Mac Mini, and it was really good. Just a blast to play with. It was extremely fast, but I wanted a Mac that I could bring with me on the road. So that's why I have this.
Your audio's dropped out, Rich. You've muted your audio.
Oh, did we lose the audio when I did that? Okay.
Yeah.
Is how do you install programs? And I'm going to bring up Safari, and that's the web browser. And then go over to MacLogger DX, the download area there. And of course, browsers they operate the same no matter what platform you're on, Linux, Mac, or Microsoft. Doesn't matter. I'll go over to Dog Park software here and download this version. I already have it installed, but I'm going to show you what it looks like. Now on a Windows computer, you click on the download, and you can see the animation. It just went to the downloads folder. This is where the downloads store, and where you can bring them up real quick. And then this up here, you can bring it up. This is the Safari browser, but Safari looks a little different than Microsoft Edge or Chrome, slightly different anyway. So once it gets downloaded, it's pretty easy to install, but it is different than Windows. Normally on a Windows computer, you just download the file. It'd be an exe file, and you just double click on it, and then it'll walk you through the installation. But with this Mac OS, I'll click on the downloads down here, just a single click with my left mouse button, and I'm going to click on a single click on that, MacLogger DX. I'll agree to it, and what it does is it opens up the package, and it brings up a disk, and you can see the disk image comes up on the desktop, and that'll disappear, or we can trash it later when we're finished. But to install a program, all you do is drag this over to the applications folder, and this applications folder, that's a link to here. I'll bring up the Finder window, and I'll get up a new window here, and that is this location. I've got it underneath favorites, and I've got all my applications in here, and I've got quite a few of them. They just came installed on the Mac when I installed the Monterey operating system. So all I'd have to do, I've got it already in here, MacLogger DX, but all I'd have to do is drag and drop it. And whenever I upgrade, it gives me this question, and I just click on replace, and it replaces it with the new version. Now all my settings will stay the same. I have my call sign in there, I have my key in there, my registration key. I've got a couple of things already set up, so they would stay the same. It would just upgrade the software. I'm going to click stop because I don't need to do that again. And then I dragged this folder and I put it in the applications folder too. I've got it in there because it's got some scripts for MacLogger DX. So that's how you install a program.
Looking for royalty-free music? Discover.
And we'll stop there. That's installing a MacLogger DX is a real good program. It's a paid program, but it's great if you're chasing DX. And showing you how to install it. To install, if you operate any of the digital modes like you use FL Digi or WSJTX. There's a process with it. If you want to get FL Digi working with MacLogger DX and to log right into MacLogger DX, there's a process, and it's not as simple, I would say, as Windows. But there's the guy that created MacLogger DX is tremendous. His name's Don, and he just does a great job. He always answers my questions within a day, and he's got a good support for him. So I've been real happy with that, and I've got it all working. So I'm ready to go now. The thing for me to do now is to test it in the camper. I can do this at home, but is it going to work in the camper when I get out and away from everything? When I get out there and operate portable, there's a lot of things that can happen. One thing that I have trouble with when I'm operating portable, I like to be connected so I can upload to my online logs, and a lot of times I can't get a cell signal, so that's not going to happen while I'm there. But that has to do with any of the operating systems. The installing of the programs is different on all of the operating systems. On Linux, you have a different. There's a different way to go about it, and it has a package manager. And if you've haven't ever seen a package manager, well, there's a few different ones in Linux. There's a lot of different flavors of Linux. There's Ubuntu, Red Hat, Debian. There's a lot of different ones out there that you can choose from. I chose this one called Anti-X, and it's a real lightweight one because it runs on my little HP laptop. It's a HP Stream, and it's pretty fast. So I'm going to take it out and try it in the camper and see what happens. And it's a HP Stream, a real cheap and expensive laptop. If I drop it off a cliff. Yeah, that's another good thing about Linux. It'll run on really old computers. This is an old Celeron, and it runs pretty quick. Of course, Linux runs on the Raspberry Pi, so you can take that with you too. Operating soda is not going to be a big deal, but I just have my logging program on here, and the logging program that I'm using on here is CQR log. For Mac, my two favorite logs are RumLog and MacLogger DX. For Windows, it's HRD and Log for the Old Man, DX Lab Suite, N3FJP. There's a bunch of them. But for Linux, the best one that I've found for myself is CQR log because it does what I need it to do. I want it to upload to online logs, and I want rig control, a few other things that I want, and CQR log really does it. But let's take a look. We looked at how to get around the Mac computer and how to install programs on the Mac computer. You just download them and drag and copy them to the applications folder. But if you're going to get into Linux, you've got quite a learning curve if you're coming from Windows. To install applications, what I like to do first is look and see if they got any packages out there. The problem is there's a package installer on this one. This is Anti-X. And let me type in the password here, bring it up, and this is the package installer. I can go along if I wanted to install a browser. I could install a browser. Looking for ham radio software on here is kind of tough though. I can just type in ham and see what it pulls up, and installer is the first place that I look, and it's got some different file managers here. But if you can't find the package that you're looking for, or if it's outdated, you'll just have to go to the website, download it, and install it on your computer. And the good thing is that there's some hams out there that have Linux packages already put together for you. So if you download their Linux installation, you can install it on your computer and pretty much have it set up and ready to go with ham radio programs on there. I'll put a link on this page. So this is one way to install applications. The other way is download it and then double click on it to install it. And then yet a third way is just do it by command line, and I think that's how I installed CQR log on this one. I did it by command line. You bring up a terminal, and to start CQR log, this is the way that I've been doing it. I don't have a shortcut on the desktop. Just type in CQR log and it brings it up. This is a neat little program. I'm going to go ahead and open up the log here. I don't have a radio connected, so I can't show you how root control looks, but this is the program, and if I had a radio connected, you'd be able to see the frequency, the mode, and anything else that I've got on there. Let's see, I had the Elecraft connected and then the ICOM 7610 connected, so I can use either one of those radios or the 7300. But that's a look at the log book. And I'll just close it up, and then file manager. To get around the Linux, this is my little file manager, and just an envelope. I'll just click on it once, and it has my documents in there. Nothing. I don't have anything. Got my logbook in there somewhere. But anyway, that's how I get around file manager. It's just a real basic one. The one that's on this anti-X Linux distribution, just real basic. Okay, so yeah, if you're thinking about moving to Linux, you're going to have a learning curve, but it's a lot of fun, and I enjoy it. There's a great community out there for ham operators using Linux, and just terrific guys that'll help you out. Yeah, one thing that I found with Linux, there's at least 2 ham operators that have Linux distributions. One of them for the Raspberry Pi, and it comes with all the ham radio software. And then another distribution for laptops or computers, and it comes with the ham radio software. So all I have to do is go in and set it up. And that's sometimes where the problem lies, but I get it done eventually. It's a matter of going to the forums and asking people, and then trying things out. But if I take this little laptop with me, this little HP Stream, what I'll do is put it in the camper. I'll hook it up to the 7300. And I'll run WSJTX and FLDigi from it, and it'll log right into the CQR log, and then CQR log will upload to my online logs. And one question I've been asked quite a bit is where do I store my log? And all my contacts are online. So when I use a log and I'm just trying it out on a laptop, I upload those contacts to either QRZ, hrdlog.net, or a club log. So I have all my logs are on there, and if someday if I want to download those logs, I can go on those online logs and download them again, and put them on my computer. But I've found that it's pretty easy to import those logs. I'll export my Windows log and then import it into my MacLogger DX, or I can import it into CQR log. I haven't had any trouble doing that. So things have come over the past 10 years, I'd say things have really boomed, and they've come a long way. with the operating systems. Linux is a heck of a lot better than it was, even 5 years ago or 3 years ago. I think Windows has gotten better. Um, you know, the I can remember using oh gosh, was it XP? And I still know hams that use XP, but I think Windows has gotten better, and I think Apple's gotten better. So it's just really the question to me is, do I want to take the time to learn it? And have if I got the time, then sure, it's a lot of fun. It's my hobby, so that's what I do. And I think if people are hesitant about doing it, my advice would be to buy an old computer, buy one, a used one, and set up your either Apple or the Mac OS or Linux, different flavor of Linux, and give it a try. See if you like it. If you don't like it, you can always sell it and go back to what you're used to. So uh, that's all I got. I'll be traveling the next few months, and of course I won't be making any DX contacts with you unless I lease a DX station. I've been looking into that, so maybe you'll hear me on sometime, even from Alabama. Uh, so I appreciate you guys, and thanks for asking me to do this again.
Yeah, thanks, Rich. I've got a quick question to ask. If you had a choice between the Windows, the Mac, and Linux, what system would you go to? What one would you prefer?
Yeah, I would have to go with the Windows computer because I have the ICOM radio, the 7610. I spent a lot of money on that radio, and I want to be able to use the CW skimmer and HDSDR. If I was using a different radio, if say I was on a Yazoo, I think I'd probably use the Apple OS, and then just play around with Linux.
Right. Okay. Thanks. Thanks for that, Rich. That's interesting. I've got a Mac Mini and an iMac, and I don't actually use them now for amateur radio. I just don't find that they've got the software. But I might
Yeah,
just try.
the other thing is that I didn't get into this, but there are programs where you can do dual boot and boot the Apple OS and the Windows OS on the same computer. And when you do that, you just have to shut it down and then boot into the operating system that you want. So that's a little time consuming for me. The other thing is to use something like Parallels, and Parallels let you run. I can run the Windows programs on my Mac computer, so I really get the best of both worlds. And I just read where I could load Linux on there too. So I'm thinking I could have all three of them if that little notebook or laptop was fast enough. I could have all three of them on there. And I was doing Intel, the Windows operating system, on my Mac Mini, and it was lightning fast with Parallels. But I was running into a driver issue. They didn't have the drivers out at the time. For Silicon Labs didn't have the drivers out for the ARM processor. They do now though, so I was just a little too early, I guess. But yeah, so you can have the best of both worlds on the same computer, and you can, I guess, have all three of them on there. Maybe that's something to shoot for.
Yeah, I might give that a try. I might give Parallels a go, and I'll let you know the next time we chat. I'll let you know how I get on.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I've got this. Oh, I've got this little Raspberry Pi, and I haven't done a lot with it, it's yeah, you can see it. It's a Raspberry Pi on the back, and then a screen. Unfortunately, it's not a touch screen, but I got a little keyboard with it, and I'm gonna load the Raspberry Pi Ham Radio Edition, the one that comes with all the ham radio software, before I leave, and I'll give this one a try when I'm out there camping. But yeah, it's fun to play with.
Yeah, I'll give that one a try and I'll see how I get on with it. Yeah. Anyone got any questions? Anybody got any questions?
Not offhand.
Yeah, go on, Kevin. Kevin, did you say you had a question?
No, not offhand. Sorry.
Oh,
Probably all I was going to say is, Rich, I'm not too far from you. I'm on the west side of Wisconsin,
Oh, okay.
and I've been pheasant hunting in your area.
Oh, yeah, yeah. We're known for that.
You know, we stay at Whitlock Campground out by Gettysburg.
Yeah, Whitlock Bay. Yep.
Yep.
let's just see if there's any other questions, Rich. But if
I'll just
not,
jump in.
Oh, go on then, John.
I'll just jump in and say I listened to every word. I've nearly finished the meal. Coq au vin, really good. Can't complain. Yes, but thanks, Rich. That was really interesting. I run, for the same reason as you, I run Windows and Mac. And I do dabble with Linux, but I agree with you 100% that Linux doesn't really have up-to-date, good selection of ham radio software.
Yeah, I was really optimistic. Oh gosh, probably 10 years ago when Linus, opened it up to the world, and maybe that was 15 years ago. That was a long time ago. But when he opened it up to the world, I really thought there was going to be a lot more development of the software. But unfortunately, that didn't happen for whatever reason. I think my personal opinion is Microsoft has it nailed down, and they're not going to let anybody else in. they pretty much crushed it. But it's still fun to work with. And I like CQR log because it does the things that I need it to do.
Yeah, thanks. I know that some operators use ham RS, don't they, as a logging, but I think you probably discounted that with Can't Have because it's a very simple logging program. It doesn't really do much else.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the radio control and being able to upload. I like to integrate the digital software with it so I don't have to export and import logs.
Yeah, I understand that. Okay, I'll hand it back to you, Andy one.
Yeah, cheers, John. Okay, well, look, if nobody's got any other questions, then I think we can wrap it up, Rick.
Okay.
But I hope you have a fabulous trip. And,
Okay.
And I hope that, everything goes well. And I look forward to having you on the next time. And I'll give you an update with how I got on with the Mac running.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you again. It's great to see you guys, and I'll keep in touch on the Facebook page.
Yeah, and I'd like to be the first one to wish you a very happy Christmas.
Okay, all right. Yeah, you too.
Take care.
Richard, got two questions for you.
Yeah.
Can you remember K1EA contest software?
K1EA.
Yeah.
I got a little. One of the cool things about this Mac I noticed that I've been using is these little sticky notes, and
Okay.
I can do that. K1EA.
Yeah.
All right.
1990, 1997, 1998, something like
Okay.
that. A nice DOS program.
Oh gosh, yeah. I haven't never used that one.
And the other question is that an AL811 there, your amplifier?
Oh yeah, this is the AL811. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is my my boat anchor section. I've got a Drake TR7
Nice.
here that I use straight key with it, and a little Johnson Adventurer little CW transmitter, and my 7610's over here. You can't see it.
God, just as well, really. I couldn't look at the amp.
Yeah. It's a good one. It's the one I've been using for many years. Yeah.
Very good amp.
Okay, well, I think that's it then, Rich.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. It's very much appreciated, and I look forward to seeing the rest of the YouTube videos as well.
Okay. Well, thanks, and I'll be here more often. I saw the list, and I'm gonna get in with those other guys.
Yeah, no worries, Rich. Okie dokie, brilliant. Well, thanks very much, and I look forward to hearing about your travels the next time around. Cheers, Rich.
See ya.
Have a good trip.
Thank you.